Welcome back, everyone. This is Dave with the Korman Productions Deep Dive TV podcast. My co-host Stacie. We got special guests today for McInroy and her mom, Nichi McInroy, for of course having played Jordan in Revival, and Nichi being the hairdresser on the series. Guys, why don't you introduce yourselves?
Well, my name is Flora. I am 9 years old, and I play Jordan on Revival.
I'm Nikki. I'm her mom, and I was in the hair department on Revival as well.
All right, so you already actually answered one of our first questions. We asked how old you are in the notes, but so did you watch Revival after you were filmed it, or was it like kind of too scary for you? Or
I did actually. Yeah, I have watched it. I have had to be like this some I'm
me
like,
too.
but I've loved it so far, other than all the scary parts, obviously. But yeah, I've watched every episode from episode 1 to episode 6 so far.
The
But
one in which you poof.
yeah, yeah, I've been wanting to watch episode 7, 8, 9, and 10 though. I just haven't got a chance yet.
Gotcha. Must be pretty busy.
Yeah.
So how about we talk about your casting experience? How did you become involved in the cast of
Well,
Revival?
yeah, so mom got the job of being a hairstylist in the hair department, and then she saw on Facebook or Instagram or something like that there is an open casting call for the thing that she was working on, Revival. And then she signed me up to audition, and I really was excited when she let me know that she signed me up. And then I auditioned with a videotape because they had like over 100 girls or something like that to audition. So some people had the videotape, and I was one of them. And then they called 3 girls in, me and 2 more girls, and then I just got the part, and I was so excited.
So when I submitted her video audition, I did not tell them that I was a member of production because I didn't know if that was allowed or not, and I didn't want to hinder her chances. So I thought in the event she, gets the role, which I didn't know would actually happen. She's never acted before, never auditioned before. I thought if it's an issue, I'll just surrender my role and she can in the hair department and she can have her chance to be on the show. But thankfully they were very happy. After she got the role, I was like, by the way, I actually work on the production. Is that a problem? And they were very happy. So yeah, it wasn't an issue.
Yeah.
Well, they definitely picked the right person for the job. Uh,
You.
one of the people that we interviewed, Sheldon Garland, happened to mention that they were actually in on your audition process.
Yeah, he takes credit for picking you.
Well, thank you.
Do you happen to know who that is? Either one of you?
Who is?
Sheldon Garland.
I do not
Who is
recognize
that?
the name.
Sorry. Sorry,
Sheldon Garland.
Sheldon?
Yeah, Sheldon Garland. He played one of Blaine's guys.
No, he wasn't in the audition.
Oh, okay.
Well, he says he was. He was called in to stand in for one of the casting directors. Is the
Oh,
story we heard.
maybe. I was only introduced to Amanda Rowe, the director, and Luke and Aaron,
Yeah.
and a couple of the ADs, and I didn't see Sheldon, but maybe he came in because I was only introduced, and then I had to step out, and then she did her thing.
Yeah, when I was doing the audition, I remember Amanda being there and Aaron and Luke being there, but there's one last person I did not remember who it was. So it might have
Maybe that was
been, I don't
Sheldon.
know though.
Yeah.
Well, he seems to think he picked you. So,
Thanks, Sheldon.
so you'd already had your spot in the hair department
Yeah.
before casting happened.
Yes.
So, how did you get involved in all of it then?
So I knew Greg Hemmings, who's one of the producers, and he reached out to me and asked if I would be interested in working on a project like this. And I said, yes, definitely. So he said he doesn't have anything to do with hiring, but send along my resume and he'd pass it along to the right channels. And he got in contact with Dan Campbell, who is the head of department for hair. And I had an interview and then I ended up getting the job, which was fantastic. And Dan is an amazing HOD, amazing person. And I learned so much from him, and as well as Jaylee. She was the key. And both of those people were just so great to work with.
A couple of things I forgot to mention at the top. First of all, a couple of birthday shout outs for Hudson Worcester, who had his 10th birthday last week, belated, and Jimmy McKinley, I think, actually, whose birthday is today. But when this actually drops, it'll be a couple days back. So happy birthday to both of them. Nikki, did you get a chance to work with your daughters here during the
Yes.
show?
Yes, I was the one designated for Flora.
Yep.
Gotcha.
So you got paid to do your daughter's hair?
Yes, which was fun but challenging because she was professional on set, but when it came to me, she was my daughter and acted as such. So I had to remain professional,
Maybe
which
she should-
sometimes became a challenge.
Maybe she should continue to pay you to do her hair.
Yeah, I agree.
Why don't you walk us through a typical day on set for you? Like, how did it begin, so on and so forth, Nikki?
So I would get the call sheet the night before telling us what time to show up. And I would come into the trailer and Dan, the HOD, would let myself and Jaylee know who we were looking after and at what times. So we would do actors' hair. When it was time to go to set, we would watch the monitors, pay attention to make sure continuity-wise hair was remaining the same. We would do touches in between takes to make sure everything was good. Any sort of resets for different scenes, we would go back to the trailer and just be in the trailer or on set.
Okay. So, I'm not Jordan. Flora, playing Jordan. Uh, so your character experienced some bullying at school. Is that something that you related to in any kind of way, or in your schooling or anything like that?
Well, there's not much bullies at my school in real life, thankfully, because I go to a private school, so
It's a smaller school.
it's a smaller school, so there's not as many kids, so that helps. But yeah, so I don't really get bullied, thankfully, but in the show, I did.
How did it feel playing those scenes?
It felt really different because it did not feel like I was going to school. It had to be, though, but it didn't. It just felt like I was going to this building and getting a like somebody just taking a video of me, honestly. But it felt really weird, somebody have to bully me and me have to reflect on that and just be all scared and all that stuff. That was a little tricky for me, but I think I did pretty well.
You did
Yeah,
a great job of
yeah.
pulling that off.
The
Thank
the
you.
most heartbreaking scenes in the show definitely were with your character.
Thank you.
Two stick out, like the your final line, "Thank you for being so kind to me," and the locker room scene where you were with Cooper, and you were looking at the memorial in your locker, and you're like, well, why aren't they happy that I'm alive after being sad that I was dead?
Yeah.
Speaking of Cooper, what was it like working with him? Did you develop a
It
little friendship?
was, yeah, it was really fun. We definitely had a big friendship in the show, and we actually had a huge friendship behind the show. In between scenes that we would be filming together, we would always just hang out, and sometimes we would have to start scenes over because we would laugh in the middle of the scene. But yeah, I had this trip to Toronto and we met up there because Hudson also lives kind of inside of Toronto. Then we went to Canada's Wonderland, and at the time I had only been on one roller coaster, and it had been like a baby roller coaster, but he brought me on like the highest roller coaster that I have ever seen.
Was it fun?
Oh yeah.
Count me out.
Yeah, I don't do roller coasters.
The baby roller coasters as much as I can handle, honestly. Do you have any stories that you can remember with Hudson that you'd like to share?
Well, yeah, when we were filming the scene, when we were in the tent, and then the passenger would like touch the tent, when he would have to throw the marshmallow in my mouth, there was this scene where I got it in my mouth. I'm like, yeah, but I'm like, shoot, that's not my character. Never mind. And we would just keep laughing because it would miss in a funny way. And at the end, where we're like, when Hudson's like, I don't know, and I'm like, when he asks, what was that? And I'm like, I don't know. I would always smile at the end of the scene and start laughing. It was just, so we had to start over, but it made some fun memories for sure.
How long would you say it took to film a scene like that?
45 minutes to an hour, maybe. I don't really time it, so I don't really have any recollection, but around there.
So you had to do it a lot of times, right?
Yeah, and we have to get like our mic on and all set up, but filming 45 minutes to an hour for sure.
Oh, wow.
But yeah.
So revivers don't sleep. And we saw that with Jordan, how she was like, I don't really sleep anymore. I'm just kind of sitting here all night. If you didn't have to sleep, what would you do with all that extra time that you had?
Yeah, it's like 8 to 10 hours, so that would be kind of hard. I would like watch TV or something, but I couldn't do that for the whole 10 hours. My aunt is teaching me how to crochet, so I'd probably practice that, but yeah.
Get real good at it.
Yeah. Do you have any other hobbies that you like to do or any sports or anything like that?
I actually really like to sing
Okay.
and I like to draw, so I'd probably wouldn't sing because everyone's sleeping, but I would draw for sure. Yeah.
Nikki, do you have any stories to share from experiences with the people while doing their hair? Any actors that you got into really good conversations with, etc.
Yeah. So our trailer, we had hair, makeup, and special effects makeup and prosthetics. So that's Patrick Baxter. He is phenomenal and such a great person as well. But besides the other crew in the trailer, working with them and creating those relationships, it was really neat to meet the actors on a personal level and develop relationships with them. But probably one of the things that sticks out most in my mind was Stephen Ogg, and he grabbed one of the wigs from the trailer and he was walking along down one end of the trailer to the other, singing some hymn that I believe he sings in one of the episodes, but in a very exaggerated, funny way. And Stephen is just a hilarious person. So that it's probably the funniest moment that sticks out in my mind.
Okay. So let's discuss the final scene that you're in. What was it like acting against? What were you acting against exactly? Like, what
It
was
was
it, a
this,
puppet or
it was like this big sheet light. So there
green
was,
screen?
yeah, kind of, but it
Okay.
wasn't green. It was just tiny.
No, it was just a light. I
Yeah.
believe the sheet was to diffuse the light.
Yeah, but that's why there was light shining on my face in the scene because I was just standing next to this big light, really. But yeah.
So how did they mark like the like where your mark was that you needed to touch when you're touching the creature?
Usually they would just put tape on the surface, but sometimes the surface is too rough, so they'd like put this like metal shape or something like that and just tape that so you can like see
But in
it.
terms of when you were reaching, how did you know where to reach?
Oh, I feel like they taped on the light. I barely remember, but I feel like they put some tape on the light and I would just reach to the tape. But yeah,
Was it difficult acting against that, or
it was difficult in general because I was really sick that day.
Oh
no, really?
no.
Yeah, but other than that, I could just almost touch the tape and and be good. But I like in between scenes, I would hop in the car that I was in the middle of the scene. I would hop in there with a blanket and there'd be like this not AC, but a heater in there, and I'm just sitting there with a heater against, and it made me crave chicken nuggets because it smelled like an air fryer. Um,
So it was cold out that night?
oh yeah,
Mhm.
it was like there was snow everywhere too.
Did
Yeah,
you end
it
up
was a
getting those
late night.
chicken nuggets?
Yeah. What?
Did you end up getting those chicken nuggets after?
Later that night, yeah, I went home and started eating some chicken nuggets.
Yeah, that was just a really powerful scene and great job, by the way. It was
Thank you.
amazing. Probably one of the most memorable scenes of the whole season. How did it feel watching that scene and once you saw it all come together with the special effects and everything? Is it what you expected it to look like, or was it different?
Yeah, well, I had no recollection of what the puppet or anything would look like. I did see the passenger in the comic book, but I did not see it in real life, and I had to wait until I watched it with everyone. I'm like, wow. I did not know it would look like that, and it was like huge, and I just did not know it would look like that. And I was very surprised. But
What
yeah,
was it like seeing yourself disappear?
I was like, wow, I'm just disappearing into thin air, and then everyone around me is like, and I'm like,
Including us, by the way. What happened to Jordan?
We're all crying and
and I'm like, I'm right here, guys.
Well, it's good to see that you didn't actually poop out of existence, so
Yeah.
that you're safe and sound in your mom's house. Uh, do you have any favorite lines of Jordan's that you can recall?
There is one line where Dana is talking to my parents and like demanding on them because they're like they don't like Jordan, and that's that. And then I come in and I just say, "Can we have cookies?" And I just love that line. But yeah.
Was it hard? Like basically everyone is always talking about you like you're not there. How'd that feel? Like acting out those moments?
Yeah, I was literally standing in the corner watching them just talk, and then I just appear out of nowhere. And I'm like, "Can we have some cookies?" It wasn't that hard because I just had to walk and ask that. But other than that, I had to squeeze into a little corner, so that was pretty hard.
So this is your first acting experience, right?
Yeah, it
How
is.
hard was it to memorize all of your lines? Because I would think that'd be really hard.
Yeah, I try to memorize lines for other things, and I'm like, I can't do this. Um, but for revival, I could just read them, and they'd be in my head for some reason. But it worked.
Did you ever do any school plays at all?
No, it
No.
was my first
So
time.
this is literally your first acting experience.
Yeah,
Wow. That's amazing.
So
yeah.
who helped you practice your lines and rehearse?
Um, at home, sometimes it would be my mom, sometimes it would be my dad, but in the trailer on campus, it would be my dad.
How
My
about you,
mom.
Nikki? Any favorite lines of your daughters that stand out in your mind?
I think it was the obvious one. Thank you for being kind to me,
Mm,
or whatever it was. I can't even remember the real.
That's it.
Okay,
that
yeah.
was it.
That one was just so touching, and
Mm.
my partner and I would rewind it and watch it and rewind it and watch it and cry every single time.
Yeah, that was a pretty heartbreaking line for sure, and well delivered, of course.
Thank you.
Um, if you had any superpower, What would you want it to be?
I love animals and I have 4 cats, so I would say talk to animals for sure. So I could just
Okay.
gossip with my cat all the time.
That would be a fun one.
Yeah.
We like cats too. And she has a dog.
I have a dog. Yeah. But I've had cats before.
Right.
What are your cats' names?
Maple. Keep in mind, I've named these when I was like 5 or 6 or something. But
No judgments.
Maple, Hazel, Louise, and Beulah.
Beulah. That's unique.
Yeah, my mom and her partner choose that.
Gotcha.
Oh, so that's the one you didn't name when you were
Yeah.
5 or 6.
I was gonna wonder. I was thinking about that. Like, I want a 5-year-old come up with that, but yeah.
So, Flora, what did you find to be the hardest part of production? Was it memorizing your lines, or the not giggling part, or what did you find the most challenging?
I think it was the day that we were filming episode 6 because I was freezing, I was sick, and I felt like I was gonna puke every second. So that was really tough, but also when we were in the tent and not laughing, that was the second most tough for sure.
You couldn't stop laughing.
Yeah.
At least it was tough for more pleasant reasons than your episode 6 experience.
Yeah.
So do you want to continue acting in the future?
For sure. I have auditioned for this advanced acting program at Interaction, and I auditioned for that, and I also have an agent. But other than that, I haven't done really any other acting experiences so far, but I really want to continue for sure.
You've got a lot of time.
Is there any other areas of production you might be interested in? Directing or hairdressing?
I usually just like to stick with the cast, but if I could do anything other than the cast, it would be doing the people's like makeup. Not just neutral, not like doing blood or anything. I would like to like put like colorful makeup and just do like anything like that's like colorful and just crazy because I
Make
could
them all clowns.
yeah, make them like clowns. Exactly.
All right. So I think we ran out of questions. But is there any other stories that you guys want to share about production?
Anything you can think of?
Um, oh, yeah, there's one thing. After the bullying scene that we filmed, it was later that night when we got like our makeup off and everything and we changed. Um, Hudson, Noah, I don't know if that's his real name or his character name, I'm sorry. And me,
You don't either.
yeah, we all went out by the trailers. Noah or Jack, one of them's his character name, one of them's his real name. He grabbed his skateboard and he was skating around, and me and Hudson were running away, and we were playing tag, and we were just running and running and running and running. But and then
Sounds
we
fun.
had to go home. But other than that, it was really fun.
All right. Before we go, do either one of you have any projects that you're working on that you want to plug, Nikki or Laura? Or both?
I just wrapped up a production, doing hair on a production. It's an indie movie based out of Montreal. It's called Sleep Pretty Darling. It's going to be a very powerful, impactful movie. It's about an older couple. The woman has pretty debilitating mental health issues. And so it's a story about her and her struggles, as well as her partner's struggles and how he's dealing with that and coping with that. I think it's probably going to be another year before that comes out, but yeah, Sleep Pretty Darling.
Sounds pretty interesting. I'm definitely gonna check that out. Mental health is something I'm interested in. So,
Yeah, it's a powerful story.
all right. Laura, you got anything?
I haven't been working on anything other than that audition that I just did, but
Gotcha. A YouTube channel or anything that you got going on?
No, I mean, really, we do a lot of music. So she
Okay.
sings a lot. My partner and I are musicians, and sometimes we'll take her to open mic nights and he'll
Cool.
play the guitar and she'll sing. And she really enjoys singing about as much as acting, I think.
Yeah, what I did for the audition is actually sing and just do a monologue.
For this upcoming.
Yeah, for the
Yeah.
for the upcoming event, but
Mhm.
Nice. Yeah, Nikki, you're a singer in a band, right?
Yes.
Tell us about your band a little bit.
So it's called What the Funk. It's an 8-piece funk Motown. It's basically anything that has soul and groove. We have a three-piece horn section, so trumpet, trombone, and saxophone. We've been together since 2011, and that's great. And then my partner and I, we also have a band. Him and I, we're called Bunny and Clyde. So we do right now we're trying to figure out which direction we want to take musically, and we've started narrowing that down to be kind of more uh old school Western folk, kind of like, Johnny Cash, Buck Owens, Loretta Lynn, and all of that kind of stuff. So yeah, we've been doing some things with that.
Cool. All right. Well, I think we're about out of time. So yeah, I'd like to thank you guys for joining us and having this conversation with us. It's great meeting you both. I definitely see bright things in your future, Flora, if you continue acting. I definitely see big roles coming your way.
Absolutely.
And I can't wait for 20 years from now to be like, yeah, I had her on my channel when she was 9 because she's a big star now. But
yeah, when you become a famous actress and singer, you have to remember us and come back and talk to us again.
right,
Okay.
right.
Yes, thanks so much for having us.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Thank you both so much.
Have a great night.
You too.
thank you.
Bye.
And that was our conversation with Flora McInroy and Nichi McInroy, her mother. And wow, I mean, like, watching Jordan in the show and then having actually talked to her, she's like the totally opposite of her character.
Right. So Flora wasn't just playing herself in this. And it makes it stand out even more, like how amazing her acting skills are, that she pulled off this character that's very different from who she is. And it's so amazing to me. This is her very first acting experience.
Absolutely.
She hasn't even done like
school productions
anything, commercials or anything like that. So that's phenomenal. Like I that blows my mind because she did such an amazing job on this show. And I really think Flora, you're gonna do great things in your life. She wants to be an actress, maybe a singer, and we're here for it.
Absolutely. Like, yeah, she's definitely if she wants to continue having an acting career, which right now she says she does, whether she continues to want it or not, that's a different story because she is 9 and she might change her mind along the way. But yeah, I mean, she's definitely a phenomenal find, whether Sheldon Garland was actually responsible for that, as he says, or not. Either way, like a great casting choice, and I'm looking forward to her career.
Yes, casting directors, get on it, keep up with this child because she's going to do some good things.
Absolutely.
And it was so amazing talking to both of you. Thank you so much for coming and hanging out with us.
It was definitely a fun time. All right. We'd like to hear from you. What'd you think of this podcast, this interview, the season revival? Leave your comments. We'll maybe shout you out somewhere. If we can figure out a place that makes sense. Stacie can be reached at.
I can be reached on Twitter, X, Instagram, Threads, and Blue Sky at TVN Group and Talk. If you like this video and want to support the channel, there are ways to do so. You can follow me on Twitter at Core Productions. You can join one of the Korman Productions Facebook pages. You can buy something from the Korman Productions store on Zazzle. You can buy me a copy. You can join the Korman Productions membership starting at 99 cents a month. And of course, you can like, share, and comment in this video as well as subscribing to the channel. This is Dave and Stacie from Core Productions signing off.